Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. So, today is a very special day for you.
Oh, that's right.
It is. Is today your actual birthday?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. And would you like to share how young you're turning?
I could say 29, but
There you go. We'll take it. So let's just start. And if you have a wonderful history that's on display over there. If you could just kind of walk me through that.
where I was born, I was born in Aleppo, Pennsylvania, hills of Pennsylvania. I graduated from Aleppo High School when I was 16 years old. And I killed time for a year because I wanted to go in nurse's training. I wasn't old enough. So I lied about my age and told them I was 18. And so I graduated from nurse's training after it was a diploma. And I graduated after 3 years. I was 20, which they thought I was 21. And I took state boards when I was 20. I passed. And then I worked in Pittsburgh a while, and I joined the Navy, but they did not want me because I had a calcified spot on my left lung, which is not, it's okay. So I came back home, done private duty a while, then I joined the Army. Of course, they took me. I was in Maryland, then I went to Mississippi. Then I went overseas to England, and I was over there for a year or so. And I met Bob over there, my husband over there, but not my patient. I met him at the officers' club. I was having a wee toddy.
So you always wanted to be a nurse?
No, I wanted to be a school teacher, but my dad thought I needed discipline, so they sent me to nurse school where I had to clock in a day and night. And I was quite angelic.
I believe it. I believe it.
And well, anyway, I came back from overseas. Bob was already here, and we got married. And he went to A&M, and I made like $65 a month, and he got $150. We went to A&M. He had the GI Bill. I had the GI Bill, but I couldn't use it because I was a girl. So we graduated from A&M, then we went to, he got a job with Chevron, and he went to LaPorte. Yeah. And then we went to West Texas and Snyder, the oil boom in Snyder. And then back and forth. Really, we lived in, LaPorte and Midland and Snyder twice. And Snyder had mud roads when I went there. That was oil boom. And we went to, anyway, oh dear. We lived in Midland, and finally, and we went to England. I lived over in England a couple of years. And came back from it, but before we went to England, we were in Africa, South Africa, for about a year. And I enjoyed all those places. We came back from England. What did we? Oh, we went to California. I've lived in 3 countries and 7 states, which is pretty good.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, where was I? I was in California, and then Bob retired from there, and we came back to, where did we come back to? Midland. And I always worked. I worked till I was 75 years old. Most of the time I supervised hospitals. And, well, oh yeah, I had 6.
grandkids?
I did have 6 children, I might say. Yeah, 6, 3 boys and 3 girls, 3 redheads. Well, where was I? That's about it, I think. With Bob, and Bob died in 2011, so I have a log cabin. I'm living on my daughter's property, and I'm here.
And we're here celebrating you, right?
Yeah, I'm celebrating my 29th birthday.
Exactly. So, can we talk about your service a little bit? How all that went and what
Oh,
you saw and just everything.
It was in England, and we lived on there were 5 different hospitals on this. I went back after, when we lived in England, I went back to the area where we were. Our hospital was in Field Marshal Montgomery, was a big somebody then. He had trained troops there, but this was a hospital. And the patients I took care of were mostly ambulatory. And I know when they got their Purple Hearts, I secretly cried and said they didn't know it. I think they did. But mostly they were ambulatory, but they had, wounds and stuff that we took care of. That's about it.
Well, I'm sure they appreciated you.
Yeah, I loved them. I loved the boys, but, they never were fresh. They never stepped out of line for me at all. And here I was, Miss America.
So living, like you said, you lived in 3 different countries in 7 states. I mean, how do you, I guess, well, I've got a lot of questions. We'll start with this one. So throughout all this time, or have you had a moment that has been, maybe the most memorable or has really just stuck with you through your service or with your family, whatever it may be?
I don't know, my family's all up east. They're still up there. Having a family, my children were my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my everything. My kids were everything to me. I think that's probably the most, and probably I paid too much attention to them. Probably Bob got left out.
Well, so for anyone, your kids or just anyone watching, what life advice do you have?
Be honest and have good morals. I think morals have been shot lately. Be honest and I love people. And I think that just love people, really.
Good bottle of scotch.
Perish the thought. That's about all.
Wonderful. That was awesome. Do you have anything else you want to add, mention, say, tell stories?
I can tell you a bunch.
Oh, well, tell them to me. Tell me.
You might have to get a bleep.
That's okay. We can do that. I can add it.
No.
Mom, tell her one of your sayings.
Oh, yeah.
Do a ditty. But don't do walking in the park.
Gee, it's fine to dance and dine and laugh till you're in stitches, but pleasure rare can e'er compare with scratching where it itches.
That is awesome. I love these sayings. Anything else? Any other ones?
If a string.
This is the one that poor things that I've lived by. If a string is in a knot, patience will untie it. Patience will do anything. Have you ever tried it?
And I have to be about the man in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
I have to be.
Oh, one thing I've lived by is I have to live by myself, and so I have to be fit for myself to know. There's a big long poem of that. I think if everybody would live by that, they'd be better off.
Yeah, and kind of along those lines, you know, I'm sure you've been through a lot. How do you stay so strong and resilient?
My genes. I've always been real active and disciplined. I think people don't discipline their children enough now.
And why?
Show them the scars.
Your faith? And your faith?
Oh yeah, my faith above all. I think when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, I was going to church, and at my church, it was a Brethren church at that time. And you joined, they called it joining the church. And after they would have these big revivals, they would invite people to come up if they wanted to join the church. So I'm sure I did this around 5 years old. But my dad always went to church, and I had a wonderful dad that I was partial to. But anyway, he didn't. He always went to the church where he grew up. But he always went to church, but he didn't really belong. So, being very sensitive, I joined the church again, and my dad joined the church at that time. So, it helped.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've always had faith, always.
It's a good thing to have.
Yep.
Most definitely. So where has been your favorite place to live?
Whoever asking me that, I think probably Midland.
Yeah.
And we had a good time in Fort Stockton. Everybody there in Fort Stockton were just probably getting out of college and just getting jobs and had young children, and it was a neat place to live. But we didn't live there very long.
But you had fun.
I'll always have fun.
Is that another secret to life? Just have fun?
Yeah, sure. And I play a lot of bridge. I probably should have a master's. But you'd have to have it just written down.
Yeah.
I would not have earned it.
Well, sorry, just gotta fix this. So, you know, you mentioned this a little bit, but what has been, I guess, the biggest difference that you've seen in the world today versus when you grew up?
Morals, and discipline. Morals. I think it's sad.
What would you tell the world to get it back?
To have faith and do what maybe try the 10 Commandments.
Those would be good to try.
It would, yeah.